Let's talk about the important concepts involved in dividing whole numbers. First of all, we're going to be using some fancy words, so we better go over them. The vocabulary involved here. When we have a division problem such as 60 divided by 2 equals 30, well, the 60 is called the dividend. He's the guy getting divided. Now the guy doing the dividing, shouldn't surprise you, is the divisor, and the answer is the quotient. Now they may look a little different sometimes. For instance, in this problem, you call it a fraction. You may call it a numerator and a denominator, but we can still say that 50 is the dividend, the guy getting divided, 10 is the divisor, the guy doing the dividing, and 5, since it's the answer, is the quotient. It may even look like something like this. 42 divided by 7 is 6. Well, this one's easy. There's your dividend. There's your divisor. And, of course, the answer is the quotient. In something like this, we say that 24 over 6, 24 divided by 6, because that's what a fraction is, 24 over 6 equals 4 because, can work backwards, 4 times 6 equals 24. Hugajapu divided by 3 equals 2, apparently, if 2 times 3 equals Hugachapu. I don't even know what it is, but I know it works if I can check it, if you would, with multiplication. Okay, so just note that multiplication is the inverse or the checking of division. That's basic. You'll need to know that.
Pay attention to me, boy. I'm not just talking to hear my head roar.
Now you're going to need to know,
Roar!
and you really will need to know them. I wouldn't tell you anything that you didn't need to know. Basically, 3 properties of divisions. One is the division property of the number 1, and the other 2 are division properties of 0, by 0, and into 0. Let's look at them. The division property of 1. In English, you already know this. Anything divided by 1 equals itself. Now, as simple as that is, we're going to be using that throughout the whole course and the next few courses. 5 divided by 1
I know that, dude.
is 5. I know you knew that, but note that anything divided by 1 is 5.
I know you are, but what am I?
X divided by 1, don't let that scare you, is X. Even if you don't know what something is, divided by 1 is whatever that is. Anything divided by 1 equals itself.
Yoink.
Now the first division property of 0 in English is very simple also. 0 divided by anything equals 0. So 0 divided by 5 equals 0. 0 divided by 2 equals 0. Anything divided by 0 divided by anything is 0. Very important to note. Now there's another property, the second division property of 0, and that works kind of opposite of that. And that is,
No way.
it's a weird one. Anything divided by 0 is going to have to be undefined. We don't even know what it is. Now consider what we said earlier. 24 divided by 6, 24 over 6, does equal 4. Why? 24 divided by 6 equals 4 because 4 times 6 equals 24. We knew that, right? Well, let's take this with 0. 24 divided by 0, what does that have to equal?
Could it be?
Could it be 24? No, because 24 doesn't work backwards. 24 times 0 doesn't equal 24.
Not.
So
Could it be?
maybe it could be 0. Well, no.
Oh, man.
0 times 0 doesn't equal 24.
Not.
You can't think of anything times 0 that equals 24. So I hope you see why here
Houston, we have a problem.
nothing times 0 equals 24. There isn't anything. That's why you couldn't think of it. It's because anything divided by 0, and this is the reason why, is undefined, because you can't work backwards. Okay? Now another thing you are going to need to know, you're not going to be able to do this on your calculator, is how to do long division. Mostly because we're going to need to know how to find a remainder. And your calculator can't, I'm going to let you use your calculator, but your calculator can't give you a remainder. So you're going to need to know how to do this. Let's do one quick example. We're going to divide 3 into this number. Well, first thing we do is we say, how many times does 3 go into the first digit? Well, it doesn't go in. It goes in nonce, if you would. So you can either write a 0 up there, most people don't, and just leave it there. Or just don't put it there. Then I go, well, 3 doesn't go into 2. Does it go into 25? Well, it does. 3 goes into 25 8 times. So I'm going to write the 8. And note, very important, neatness is important here. Note where I write the 8. I'm going to write it above the 5 to show that I'm dividing it not into 2 but into 25. Then I'm going to multiply to see what I'm off by. 8 times 3 is 24. And I'm going to subtract to see how much I'm off by. 25 minus 24 is 1. Now we bring down the next digit, which is what? We just do it one digit at a time. Bring down the 4. And we start all over again. 3 into 14. How many times does 3 go into 14? Well, it goes in 4 times. So I multiply 3 times 4. I have to write the 4. Multiply 3 times 4 and subtract. 14 minus 12 is 2. Once again, I'm going to bring down the next digit, which in this case is a 1. And I'm going to make a guess of 3 into 21. How many times does 3 go into 21? Well, it goes in evenly, doesn't it? It goes in 7 times. So I'll write the 7. And I'll see what I'm off by. I think I know what I'm off by, but I'll see. 7 times 3 is 21. I'll subtract to see what I'm off by, and I'm not off at all. And I would bring down the next digit, but there isn't a next digit. So I'm done. The answer is 847. Now what I'd like you to note is that you repeated the following sequence of steps. You estimated an answer, you estimated a quotient, you multiplied to check, then you subtracted to see how much you're off by, and you brought down the next digit. And you kept doing this, going back to step 1 until there were no digits to bring down. And that's basically what we're going to go through doing. Let's do another.
Allow me to demonstrate.
23 into 1,358. Well, actually, I'm going to go into 1, and it doesn't go in, does it? So I could write a 0, but I'm not going to. And then I would say, well, 23 into 13. Well, it's not happening either. Once again, I could write a 0, but I don't. How about 23 into 135? Now here you could use your calculator at least to get the guess, but it goes in 5 times. Okay? You're not going to be able to use your calculator to get that remainder though. So what do I do with the 5? First of all, I write it in the appropriate spot. Note where you wrote it, above the 135, not above the 13 or above the 1. Okay, I write it, I multiply 5 times 23, it's 115, and then I subtract. And I bring down the next digit, which is the 8. Now, 23 into 208. Well, once again, you could use your calculator at least to know what number to put here. It goes in 9 times. So I'll put my 9, and I'll multiply. 9 times 23 and I write the answer 2007. I'm at 207, and I subtract, and it doesn't go on evenly this time, and there is no digit to bring down. So I'm done, and the answer is 59 remainder 1. Now it's going to be important in the future of this class and in your math world to know how to find a remainder. So you're going to have to know long division. Let's remember the steps again. Long division is a repeat of the following sequence. You're going to estimate or make a guess of the answer, the quotient, then multiply, then subtract to see what you're off by, then bring down the next digit. And you keep going through those 4, starting again at step 1 all the way through step 4 until you don't have a next digit. And then that whatever's on the bottom is your remainder. One very common application of division is finding an average. The average of a list of values is the sum of the values. You add them up and then divide by how many values you have in the list. For instance, in this problem, Jan's Math 90 test scores to date are the following. And we want to find her average score. Well, we take those scores and we sum them or add them up. Let's see, 3, 5, 2, and 2. Those add up to 12, so I'll write the 2, carry the 1, and then add 1, 9, 8, 7, 8, and I get 33. So 300, they add up to 332. Now, how many values did I want to take the average of? Well, there's 4 tests. So let's take that number, 332, and divide by 4. 4 into 33 goes 8 times. Multiply, subtract, bring down the next digit. Okay, 4 into 12 goes 3 times. Multiply, subtract, bring down the next digit. Now there isn't the next digit, so apparently the answer, the average grade, is 83. This one came out even, didn't it? Let's do one more just so you can see clearly what's going on with averages. Very useful application. How about your textbook average? Here's Joe bought textbooks for the following prices. We want to find the average cost of a book. Well, we're going to do what with those values? We're going to add them up, get the sum, and they add up to, the first number add up to 35, so I'll write the 5 and carry the 3, right? And then add the next column, and I get 22. So these 5 values add up to 225. Now to find the average, what do I do with that 225? How many values do I have? 5. So I divide 5 into 225. Let's do it again. 5 into 2, well, it doesn't go in, so we don't write the 0. 5 into 22 goes 4 times. Multiply, get your 20. Subtract, bring down the next digit. 5 into 25 goes 5 times. Multiply, subtract, bring down the next digit. And there isn't the next digit, so
Excellent.
you've got your average price. Wow, that's high. $45. Okay,
What's all this jabber-wopping when there's work to be done?
get back, go practice it with your homework. Good luck.